Hello, Greg. Welcome to If Innovation Could Talk.
Hello, Eva. Nice to be here.
So, Greg, what does innovation mean to you?
Well, I've thought a bit about this since you asked me to do this interview, and I think innovation simply means, for me, it means taking a different perspective on things, whether they're business, personal, professional.
As a experienced mediator, can you tell us how does communicating well help to progress innovation?
Well, if innovation is about change in whatever respect, and it's about changing things, doing things differently, that involves people having to understand each other. That involves people having to understand where they're going, where they want to move forwards. And that means they have to communicate well with each other. Maybe someone has a great idea, but it needs to be explained and understood. And other people need to then buy into that idea and work with it. And they may have different ideas of where it's going.
You mentioned previously that you have worked with startups. Can you think of an example that you can share?
But with startup, problems do come because people start to work in different directions, or they grow, and then things change, and then people have different ideas of where to go and different strategies. And the example I would give you was a smart startup in Berlin, a very, very successful bakery. And the two owners had very different ideas after just 18 months of where it should go. And I was brought in to help them understand each other and come to some kind of agreement on workload, on responsibilities, and on strategy. One of them wanted to grow and one of them wanted to grow less quickly. So it's about the questions of where they're going and helping them understand each other and then find solutions that might help them to go where they're going.
So, in communicating, though, you're asking to people to slow down and listen to each other and see different perspectives. What is an advice you can give that can be in front of mind so everybody is cognizant of what they need to do to slow down and listen?
Well, you've just done it yourself, Eva. The advice is listen. The advice is structure conversations so that you give space for listening and putting your own perspective aside for however long it takes, whether it's a minute, 5 minutes, or a few days, putting your own perspective aside and let someone else's perspective be heard. And then, of course, ask the same for yourself. So it's, in a way, it's about separating out the different perspectives, not confusing them, leaving them independent of each other, standing where they are, accepting them. And once you've got that far, then working with them. But first, separate them out. What we do in communication too often is we listen to someone and we bring our perspective in immediately, and we end up confusing two perspectives. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, in keeping the perspectives separate, how do you then get them to converge? What is a good way of doing it?
The first thing is they don't always converge. Yeah, that is human. We don't always come together, but it's much easier to converge if you've understood what the other side or the other people, the other parties in mediation need. It's much easier to converge if you've understood, because then you might find solutions or ways forward where you can build in acceptance of each other's perspectives and needs more easily. Don't make decisions too quickly. And the thing about startups, which is your focus today, is that they do move quickly. They do want to move quickly. But my advice would be first understand and then decide. And that's what mediation does. In a way, it's not just a conflict resolution tool or a dispute resolution tool. It's a tool for understanding and decision making.
If you have to give one piece of advice to help people listen carefully and see each other's perspective, what would that advice be?
Learn to summarize. Learn to summarize what the other side has said, either for yourself or for them, either in silence or out loud. That would be it. You know, if before you have the reply in your own mind from your perspective, first learn to summarize what you've heard and learn to ask questions about what you've heard. Learn to ask the other side, the other perspectives, the other people with different interests, more about what they need and what they've heard, well, what they're saying and what you've heard. Dig a bit deeper before you reply.
That is really, really powerful. I'm going to have to keep that at the front of mind. You're right, because usually conversation is more about someone saying something, the other party responding instead of reflecting.
Yeah.
That is super useful.
And it's not only reflecting, it's also showing the other side that you've understood them by summarizing, by asking. It's not just reflecting for yourself, it's showing someone else that you're interested in understanding and actually demonstrating that. And this doesn't always lead to a happy end, if you like. It doesn't always lead to resolution. It doesn't always lead to amicable solution. It helps you make decisions. And sometimes those decisions might be, you know, we're not going to go on together in this, but then you can do that in a good way.
Okay.
You understood each other.
So in the spirit of our conversation today, what we should be doing is to summarize what you have just said. But when I do that summary, it really is not just for my own benefit, but it is to make sure that we have communicated clearly, that I have understood what you're trying to say.
It's a form of empathy. It's a way of showing the other side that you really are interested in them. You do it authentically. You do it because you want to. You do it because you actually see there's a benefit in understanding the other side, the other person. So it's a form of empathy, and yeah, it's just very useful, not only in business, Eva, in life, in all different things that you have to do in your life, all different forms of communication.
That's wonderful. Great. Apart from thanking you for your time, I'm going to ask for your permission as well to actually share your blog, because I know you write a lot about communication and mediation.
Yes, you're welcome to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks very much, Eva. Take care.